Hey guys, I'm Jordan from Mickey Mom Blog, and today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about our Disney engagement and our Disney wedding. On our Instagram account, I post a lot of our wedding pictures, so people are constantly asking me, where did you guys get married? Where was the reception ceremony? All that stuff. And they want to see the pictures and everything. So I'm finally getting around to making this video, so hopefully everybody can see all the pictures. I'm going to scatter them throughout here and try and give you guys as much information as possible on all these situations. So let's start at the beginning with our engagement. I had no idea an engagement was coming. My husband completely surprised me with it. We had been dating for about 2 years, and our families had known each other for a while. We all went to the same high school, and our parents would hang out all the time. We'd go on family vacations and everything together. We went on our first Disney trip with my family, probably 6 months or a little longer than that into dating. And that was his first Disney trip he had been on since he was little. And after that trip, we went back 3 times that year. So I knew immediately that this was going to work out because he obviously loved Disney as much as I did, so that was a big deal for me. And after that, we just kept going back and it became like our thing. All of our friends would make fun of us for going constantly, but we loved it, so we didn't really care. Like I said, when we were about 2 years in, I had no idea that he was going to propose. And we went to Disney World with his family and my family. The whole trip actually came about because Floridian was opening their DVC section of the resort, and me and my mom wanted to stay there so bad, so we got the 3-bedroom grand villa. We had it all booked. We were only going to be the second people in the villa at that time, and we left on October 31st, and his mom was there, his sister was there, and his brother was there. My sister, my brother, and my mom. And my mom's best friend. We're about 3 days into our trip, I think, and certain things had happened that when I looked back on, I was like, oh, that was weird, but nothing that gave me any clue as to what was about to happen. But we were in Epcot the day that we got engaged, and we were drinking. We were supposed to be drinking around the world that day. So, we're all having fun, drinking, whatever. And I noticed after a little bit, people keep taking my drinks from me, and they'd be like, oh, I want a sip, can I have a sip? And they wouldn't give it back. At about I don't know, it wasn't that far into the day. My husband's like, oh, I have a work call. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a Sunday, that's so annoying, and I was all irritated by it. So he went off on his work call, and he was gone for 2.5 hours or something, and I'm like, where is he? He's missing the whole day. I'm irritated. Everyone keeps stealing my drinks. So he finally comes back, and I'm like, where were you? And he was like, oh, the call took longer, and he's like, but on my way back, I bumped into a cast member who said that they had a cancellation for a seating at Illuminations in the Italy pavilion, that the group of us could go and stand in this special roped off area. I don't even know if dessert parties existed then, but I didn't even know about dessert parties at this point. I'm like, okay, sure, that's fine. If we stick around this park, we'll do that. But we park hop a lot when we're on vacation. This is before we had kids even, obviously, so we would go park hopping constantly like that. So I'm like, okay, I did not think anything of it. I was like, if we feel like doing it, we'll do it, but was not even on my radar that was something that we were gonna do that night. So we keep walking and drinking and everything, and now it's getting later at night. We are in the American Pavilion, and I got one of the grapefruit beers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is exactly what I needed. Although it seemed like we were drinking all day, I really hadn't drank anything because people kept stealing my drink. I was just finally happy to get a beer and sit down. We went to Eat to the Beat concert. Christopher Cross was performing. So it was my husband, me, my sister-in-law, future, whatever. So I'm sitting in between them, and I'm like, oh my god, this beer is so good. And they're like, oh, is it? Let me try it. So they're passing it back and forth, and I'm trying to catch it. And so now I'm all agitated again. So then it ends, and my husband's all antsy. He's like, come on, let's go over to the Italy pavilion. Let's go, get ready for the show. And I'm like, maybe we want to go. I think everybody else was talking about that they wanted to go to Magic Kingdom. And all of a sudden everybody's like, no, let's not do that. Let's stay here. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to get, if we're going to Italy, I'm going to go get a glass of wine. So they're like, no, come on. We have to go to the seating. We need to go find where this is. So I'm like, okay. So we go over, and there's a guy staying there, and cast member and everything. And they're like, okay, this is where you're going to stand. So then the guy's like, actually, we had a couple who was going to do a special viewing of the fireworks from the balcony in the Italy pavilion. Would anybody want to do that? And they're all like, oh, like, you know, you're the one who, you know, got this for all of us basically. So you should be the one to go up there. And it was really cold that night and they had those space heaters right by where we were standing. And they're like, you should go. And I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, you can go up there with somebody else. Like, I'm, you know, happy standing right here by the space heater. I'm nice and warm. Like, you go, I'll just stay down here. And they're like, no, like, come on. Like, why don't you go? And I'm like, just take your mom. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't need to go. So finally I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go up there. I'm like, all right, well, I'm getting a glass of wine, like, before we head up there. So I'm down at the little, like, cart right in front of there, and I get a glass of wine, and we go up the stairs, that little balcony thing right there. So we go up there, and we're watching the show or whatever, and honestly, I know people are probably gonna get mad about this, but Illuminations is not my favorite show. I'm not gonna lie. So we're watching the show, and then all of a sudden he like keeps looking at his phone, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, is he checking emails? Like, I'm getting annoyed again. And I know I come off terrible in this story. So he keeps checking his phone, and the fireworks are like kind of like stopping. He gets down on one knee, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not even listening to the words he was saying, honestly. I'm just like, you're lying, you're just kidding, you're joking, like, get up, what are you doing? And they have a spotlight on us at this point, and I'm like, oh my God. So I think it was after the fireworks. So I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm stage fright, all that stuff, hate attention like that. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what is going on? So finally he's like, are you gonna like answer me? I'm like, obviously yes. So all of a sudden this like guy comes up, they have a camera, all this stuff is going on. Cast members who were just in regular street clothes at this point because they helped him plan all this earlier in the day and then came back to see everything happen. So you know, they're all running up to, I don't know what's going on. We're getting handed Mr. and Mrs. like Mickey and Minnie ears, and our families are coming over. It was just such a whirlwind. Like, what probably happened in, you know, all of, thank you. What happened in probably all of like 10 minutes felt like, you know, 2 seconds. So the whole thing was just completely like overwhelming and everything, but it was amazing. So, and again, like, I am completely stage fright and everything. So all these people are staring at us. People keep coming up to us. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know what was going on. So that was our engagement. If you want to hear more about our Disney wedding, I'm going to link that at the end of this video. You can also ask me questions on our Instagram page at Mickey Mom Blog. If not, just please subscribe below, like this video, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.